Alright, what's up, everybody? We're back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. Today, we're going to be recapping last night's playoff basketball. We had a couple game fives last night. We're going to talk about it all here in today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the content around here, consider subscribing, like, turn notifications, do all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. Really upset a lot. Join the membership. If you want to learn more about the membership, there's a video on my channel explaining all of it. You can go back and watch that. Link to my Twitter, TikTok, stuff like that in the description down below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. So usually we go in order of how the games are played, but today I want to change it up. I'm going to talk about the Clippers Mavericks first because the Celtics and Heat, it's not really that much to talk about with the Celtics and Heat, so I'm just going to save that for the end. I'll talk about like Kristaps, Porzingis and stuff at the end of the video. But we'll start with Clippers Mavericks. Game 5 of a 2-2 series. Super excited to watch this one. It was something. It was a close start to the game. Second quarter, Dallas kind of went on a run at the end of it. And then the third quarter, they blew the game open. They ended up winning the game 123-93, a 30-point win in a game 5 of a 2-2 series. Dallas Mavericks, they've kind of been locking into more of this defensive, gritty style of play, which I like. And they've been doing a really, really good job of it. Luka, 35, 7, and 10 on 14 for 26 shooting. Kind of didn't really start popping off till mid third quarter. Shots started falling, and things were going well for him. But I want Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving. I want to give all credit, all flowers to Kyrie because he was amazing in this game. He's been amazing the entire year with Dallas. This playoffs, he's been really good. But last night really stood out, and he's been doing things like this, what I'm about to say, for like the entire year for the playoffs. But last night it just really, really stood out because of how big this game was and how he performed. But Kyrie Irving was the best player on the court last night, and his stat line, he only had 14 points on 6 for 14. It was 1 for 7 from three. He had 14, 6 and 4, and 4 fouls. So you look at the stat line and you're like, what? Kyrie? How is he the best player on the court? He only had 14 points. He didn't shoot the ball well. But he was making some moves. He had that nice and one layup. He had some nice passes. He had that lob pass to Daniel Gafford from half court. He was making great passes. But if you watched him, just don't even think about the stat sheet or don't look at the stat lines and just watched him play on the court, you could see why he was the best player on the court. He was locked in defensively on James Harden, by the way. Locked in defensively, guarding Harden really well. He did have a little bit of foul trouble, but he was still being super aggressive. And he was even telling his teammates, kind of controlling the defense and that on the wing, being like, hey, go get there. Hey, run this, get there. Like doing stuff like that. But his energy and hustle was the most impressive thing. Every loose ball, he was going for it, diving on the floor, you know, making the extra play, making the extra pass. He played like he wanted to win. He played really, really hard in this game. He played with all energy, all effort, all toughness, everything. And that's why he's the best player on the court. He was a plus 35. A plus 35, even though he only had 14 points on 6 for 14 shooting. All credit to Kyrie Irving, man. That was just an amazing performance from him. Maxi Kleba, 5 threes off the bench. That was big. He had 15 points. Derek Lively, 12 points. He was 5 for 5. Derek Jones Jr. as well was really good in this game on both ends. He had 12 points. He had 2 threes. He was being really aggressive. And then defensively, he was there as well. He had 3 blocks in this game. But yeah, the Mavericks got the win. In a game where, you look at the stat sheet, like specifically, and you're like, dang, how did the Mavericks win this game? Kyrie only had 14 points. PJ Washington was 1 for 7. Dale Gafford only played 19 minutes. You know, like, how did they win this game? They won this game based on effort, defense, and they just looked like they wanted. They looked like they wanted it more. They straight up just wanted it more than the Clippers. They also hit 14 threes, which is big. Shout out to Maxi Kleba for a big part of that. And the Mavericks get the win, and now they get a chance to close it out at home in Dallas for the Clippers. Honestly, I wanted to make a video right after the game ended because I had a lot to say about this Clippers team. I waited, of course, till this morning, but I'm disappointed in this Clipper team for the performance they put on last night. Like it was bad. It was Manel Kawhi Leonard, coming off a huge game 4 where you tied the series at 2 with James Harden and Paul George combined for 66 points. You put on an amazing effort. You know, you were up 31 at one point. You did let the lead slip away, but eventually you brought it back. And they just came out in this game and had no sense of urgency and no energy. The only two players that looked like they wanted to play last night were Terrence Mann and Ivica Zubac. Those are the only two players that felt like they wanted to play this game. And those two were the ones keeping them in the game. It was only a 10-point, 8-point game in like the early third quarter because those two were scoring and hitting shots and rebounding and playing defense and stuff. But everybody else on the team, just the effort, more specifically the top two guys, James Harden and Paul George is who I'm mostly talking about with the effort. Like if you just go back and just watch the Clippers, don't even think about it, just watch the Clippers and watch James Harden and Paul George. They did not look like it was a game 5 of a 2-2 series. They didn't play like it. They didn't look like they wanted to be there. They looked like it was preseason. They were just going through the motions, not really trying to shoot the ball or anything. It was bad. Paul George, 15 points, 11 rebounds. He was 4 for 13. He only really had 15 points because at the end of the third, start of the fourth, he had a couple shots when they're already down like 18 points. And James Harden, just abysmal. 7 points, 7 assists, 4 turnovers, 2 for 12 shooting. Just bad. They could James Harden and Paul George, who had 66 points combined last game, combined in a game 5 of a 2-2 series at home, combined for 22 points, shot 6 for 25 from the field, 3 for 13 from 3, and had 7 turnovers. That's unacceptable. That's unacceptable for your two-star players in a game 5 in a 2-2 series at home. I feel like I'm talking about the Phoenix Suns in game 3, how they were down 2-0. Game 3, they didn't have any sense of urgency. This happened in this game. 2-2 at home, chance to win this game. You have the advantage. You have 2 games to win 1. And they said the stat, in a 2-2 series, the winner of game 5 wins the series about 80-something% of the time. So odds are in your favor. And you come out and have this type of performance. Like, it's not even that they lost the game, because you lose games sometimes, but it's about how you lose that really determines it. And the way the Clippers lost, the way James Harden and Paul George came out and performed, that's unacceptable. You just can't have that. Yeah, those two are bad. Norm Powell had 14. Russell Westbrook. I'm sorry. I love Russell Westbrook, so I'm not gonna say this to be disrespectful. Try to put on the Russ hate, because I've grown to love and appreciate Russell Westbrook, especially at this point of his career where he's older. He decided to come off the bench. He's been more of an energy guy, and Russell Westbrook is a legend. He's amazing. I don't know how much Russell Westbrook can play in the series. Honestly, I don't know how much Russ can play. I don't know if we see Russ for Game 6. If I'm Tyronn Lue, I don't know if I play Russell Westbrook. Like, he's been bad. Ever since Game 1, he was really Game 1, he was good. Game 1, he was there. Since then, he has been bad. Like, Game 1, I think he shot like 6 for 8 from the field. He was like 5 for 8. He hit a couple threes. The last 4 games, in four games, he's averaging 4 points, 5 rebounds. He's shooting 17% from the field, 16% from 3, and 62% from the free throw line. He has more fouls than assists per game. I don't know how much Russ, like, I respect Russ. He's coming out. At least he's shooting the ball. Like, at least he's being left wide open. At least he's taking it and keep the defense honest, which I respect. But at some point, it's like, man, he's gotta do something. Like, he brings a lot of energy. He brings toughness to this team. Sometimes it's been a detriment. Look at Game 3; it was kind of a detriment to the team. But at some point, it's kind of like, man, I don't know how much Russell Westbrook can play in this series. Like, I don't know. I don't know if Russell Westbrook can play the rest of the series. If he can't hit shots, he's not really doing much besides running around and missing shots. Like, I'm sorry. That's just what it's been. Mason Plumlee as well. I don't know how much Daniel Tice needs to play over Mason Plumlee, I feel like, at some point. Mason Plumlee, this game, 1 for 6 as a center is just ridiculous. He had, the Clippers were kind of making a little bit of a push at the end of the third quarter, and he fouled Josh Green. He gave up a 4-point play to Josh Green. Josh Green, not Kyrie, not PJ, to Josh Green. He gave up a 4-point play too. Obvious 4-point play as well. And then he also missed a layup, like really easy layup, also in the fourth quarter. I don't know how much Mason Plumlee can play either. I think Daniel Tice has to get those minutes, because at least Daniel Tice is gonna be a little bit connector. He knocked down a three in his 4 minutes he played. Like I don't know. The Clippers disappointed in this game five, disappointed in the energy they showed, disappointed in the effort they played with, especially from their two star players. And shout out to Dallas. Dallas came out and played with energy and effort because even though Kyrie and Luka didn't like go off in the first half, like in the first half, they both did shoot the ball super well. I mean, they shot the ball okay, but weren't going in. Like Kyrie only had 6 points in the first half. But you know what they were doing? They were locked in on defense. They were locked in on defense. They were making extra hustle plays. They still were making the extra things to try to help the team win. And that's what the Mavericks are doing. Even though the shots weren't going out, PJ Washington was only 1 for 7. PJ Washington had 2 points in this game. Yeah, he was still locked in defensively on James Harden and Paul George. He was still, running up and down the court. He was still trying to make that, like, he was still making extra effort plays, even though he was 1 for 7 at 2 points. Like, that just separates. That just separates. That's what won the game for the Mavericks. For that right there. So shout out to the Mavericks. They're one win away from closing the series out. Hopefully the Clippers can respond to game 6 so we can get a game 7. But just, yeah, really disappointed in the way the Clippers performed last night. And now we'll go into Celtics versus Heat. The Celtics won by 34. Like there's not really that much to talk. They put up 41 in the first quarter, and I think we should have known how this game was gonna go. Derek White had another amazing game, 25 points. He hit 5 threes. Jaylen Brown had 25 points. Tatum had a double-double. Sam Hauser had 17 points. He had 5 threes off the bench. Yeah, and then Miami, Bam. I mean, he was trying. Bam had like 13 shot attempts early in this game. He had, what, 13? 23, 5, and 6. Tyler Hero had a bad shooting night. The Heat shot 10% from 3. 3 for 29. Yeah, that's really all to say about this game. I already made my looking video about the Miami Heat. I put it out last night, so if you want to hear me talk about the Miami Heat and what they should do this upcoming offseason, go check that video out. Boston moves on to the second round. They're going to play the winner of Cleveland, Orlando, and really I want to spend this time talking about the Kristaps Porzingis. He had the injury in game 4, the calf injury that came out. And now it's reported that, it could be a couple days. At first, it was reported he's not going to play game 5. We don't know the timetable. And then Chris Haynes yesterday reported before the game saying that he might miss the second round as well, and he might not be back until the conference finals, which Boston should be able to get out of the second round, depending on who they play, either Cleveland or Orlando. They have a good enough team where they should still be able to win that series in like 5 or 6, so it won't be too much of a detriment. But man, could this be a big blow? I'm thinking maybe not second round, maybe Cleveland or Orlando can catch them off guard for a game or two, who knows? But getting to the conference finals, more saying this could be a big blow in terms of when he comes back, how good is he? Because to me, I've said this a lot when we talk about the Celtics, especially about Porzingis, but Porzingis makes the Celtics the best team. The Celtics are still a really good team without him. I mean, they still have Tatum, Brown, Derek White, Jrue Holiday, Al Horford in his place. Like, they still are a good team. But I feel like Porzingis puts this team to number 1. Like, having having the 7-3 guy that can shoot the 3 ball, can post up, can defend, can do all that. It's just like, that's the game breaker for them, And so not having Porzingis might be tough, when it comes to conference finals in terms of not even just not having him on the court, but in terms of when he comes back, how good is he? How healthy is he? Especially if you're going to play a team like potentially the New York Knicks. That's a tough, gritty type of team that maybe you can use Porzingis with. I mean, obviously, not having your third best player in Porzingis is hard. I mean, again, I think they still should be good enough to make it to the conference finals without him. But this could be a tough blow for the future. For the future playoff, for the conference finals, potentially finals. This could be a big blow to that. Because again, Porzingis is just a huge part of this team and what makes this team kind of elite. So not having him is tough. It sucks that he had another injury problem when the entire regular season they were sitting him out games and sitting him out in back-to-back to avoid this, and then it happens. It's just really, really tough. But again, I still think Boston is a good enough team where they can still make it to the conference finals even without him. It's just a really tough blow, But yeah, it's going to be it for today. Hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, enjoyed the content around here. Consider subscribing, turn notifications, all stuff like that. I'd really appreciate it. We live that a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.